On our anniversary, my girlfriend texted, "My ex is upset, I have to go, don't wait up." I replied, "Understood." When she arrived at her ex's place, I went back home, cleared out all her clothes and personal belongings, and shipped everything straight to her ex, with a note, "Housewarming gift." 3 hours later, the police showed up at my door. It was our 2-year anniversary. I made dinner, pasta, wine, candles, nothing fancy. She texted right before she was supposed to come home. "My ex is upset. I have to go. Don't wait up." No sorry, no explanation. Just that. I looked at the screen for a few seconds, then replied, "Understood." I didn't call. I didn't ask. I just turned off the stove and sat there for a bit. I packed all her belongings, clothes, shoes, makeup, into 3 suitcases and a box, folded neatly, and shipped them to Ryan's address, taped a note on top. "Housewarming gift. Comes with the owner." They picked everything up and left. I poured myself a drink and watched TV. About 3 hours later, there was a knock on the door. It was the police. I'm Mark, she's Mia. We'd been together 2 years, lived together 1. Half my apartment had become her storage. Things started simple, good even. She moved in after her lease ended and said it would be temporary. A year later, half my apartment looked like her personal storage. From the start, she told me about her ex, Ryan. She said it was toxic, said she was completely done. I didn't ask much, everyone has a past. But after a while, it was clear he still had space in her life. He'd text her when he was down, call her late at night, or ask her to just talk. She'd go quiet and step out of the room. When I asked, she said, "He's just going through a hard time." The first few times, I didn't say anything. I figured it would fade. It didn't. It became routine. Every few weeks, he'd have some problem only she could fix. One night I told her straight, "You're not his therapist. His problems aren't your job anymore." She nodded, said, "I know," and went back to scrolling on her phone. The next week, she did it again. That was the moment I stopped talking about it. No point arguing with someone who doesn't care to change. Life together got weird after that. She was still affectionate, but it felt half-hearted. We'd sit on the couch, she'd be on her phone, laughing at messages I couldn't see. Sometimes I'd catch Ryan's name in the notifications. I'd ask, "You still talking to him?" She'd say, "It's nothing," and change the subject. I thought maybe I was overthinking it. Maybe it really was nothing. But deep down I knew it wasn't. The thing about Mia, she loved attention. Didn't matter from who. She'd say she liked how calm I was, how I never yelled. But after a while she started treating that calm like indifference. I'd work long hours, come home tired, still make time for her. She'd say, I didn't care enough. Meanwhile, she was still messaging her ex about his feelings. By the time our 2nd anniversary came around, I'd already stopped expecting much. Still, I wanted to try. I left work early, cleaned the place, cooked her favorite pasta, even got a decent bottle of wine. At 7:58 p.m., my phone buzzed. It was a text from her. "My ex is upset, I have to go. Don't wait up. No sorry, no reason." Just that. I stared at it for maybe 10 seconds. Then I typed back, "Understood." That was it. No calls, no begging for an explanation. Just clarity. I sat down, looked around the apartment, clothes, makeup, perfume, all hers. The more I looked, the less I recognized the place. It didn't feel like home anymore. It felt like I was living in someone else's mess. That's when I decided to clean up. Properly. I grabbed her suitcases from under the bed and started packing. Dresses, shoes, all the stuff she'd scattered everywhere. I didn't throw anything. I folded everything neatly. Not out of kindness, just efficiency. Took maybe an hour. 3 full suitcases and 1 box. When I was done, I checked her car's GPS. She'd been to Ryan's place before. His address was still saved. I copied it down. Then I called a 24-hour courier. When they showed up, I gave them the bags, the address, and told them to handle with care. Before they left, I taped a note to one of the suitcases. It said, "Housewarming gift, comes with the owner." They left and the apartment finally looked empty, peaceful. I poured myself a drink and sat down. No anger, no sadness, just relief. She made her choice. I just made it easier for her to live with it. About 3 hours later, there was a knock on the door. The police were standing there. I sent the suitcases through the courier and thought that was it. About 3 hours later, my phone started ringing. An unknown number. I picked up. It was Ryan. He sounded pissed. "What the hell is wrong with you, man? She's outside my place crying with all her stuff. I didn't tell her to come here." I said, calm as ever. "She said she had to go to you. I just made sure her belongings arrived too." There was silence for a second. Then he muttered something I couldn't catch and hung up. I went back to my drink. That was his problem now. An hour later, I heard knocking. Loud, constant. When I opened the door, it wasn't Mia. It was the police. 2 officers stood there, one with a notebook. "Are you Mark masked?" "Yes." "We got a call from a woman named Mia. She says you kicked her out and kept her personal belongings." I stepped aside, pointed at the lease papers on the counter. "The apartment's under my name only. She doesn't live here legally, and as for her stuff, I didn't keep it. I shipped it. Here." I showed them the shipping receipt, complete with the delivery address and signature, Ryan's. One officer looked at it, then looked at me. "So she voluntarily left and you sent her property to that address?" "Exactly." "Okay," he said, closing his notebook. "Then this isn't a police matter." They both nodded, said something like, "Have a good night," and left. When the door closed, I laughed a little. It wasn't funny, but it was ridiculous enough to be. A few minutes later, my phone lit up again. Mia, this time. I didn't answer. She kept calling. 10 times, maybe more. Then came the texts. "You're insane. You embarrassed me. You had no right. Please, can we talk?" I didn't reply. Turns out after Ryan hung up, he didn't let her in. She'd shown up crying, carrying her stuff, and he wanted no part of it. He'd already moved on, apparently had someone new. He told her to leave and shut the door, so she was stuck outside with nowhere to go. She must have gone to the police hoping to guilt-trip me into taking her back. When that failed, she tried sympathy. None of it worked. By morning, mutual friends started texting me. "Hey man, what happened between you and Mia? She's saying you kicked her out for no reason." I ignored them all. No point explaining when the truth always finds its way out. Later that day, she left a long message, crying, apologizing, saying Ryan tricked her and she had nowhere else to go. I listened to maybe 10 seconds and deleted it. I wasn't interested in playing the same game. 2 days later, my landlord called. Apparently, Mia had contacted him too, saying she was being illegally evicted from my apartment. The landlord, old guy, just laughed and told me. I explained the situation, sent him a copy of the lease. He said, "Don't worry about it, she's just being dramatic." That was the end of that. But of course Mia didn't stop. When manipulation fails, people like her move to damage control, lies, half-truths, pity stories. She started posting vague stuff online. "Some people turn cold overnight. Never thought I'd be thrown away like trash," things like that. A few people messaged me again, asking if it was about me. I didn't answer. Meanwhile, Ryan texted me once more. "She's been outside my building again." "Handle your mess," I replied. "She's not my mess, she left. Maybe lock your door tighter." He didn't respond. By the 3rd day, she was out of options. Ryan didn't want her. I didn't care anymore, and she clearly couldn't admit to anyone that she left me for her ex, and it backfired in the worst way possible. So she changed the story. Now I was the villain who threw her out, and she was the poor victim just trying to help a friend. It was pathetic to watch from a distance, but I didn't engage. Every call went unanswered, every message left unread. Eventually, the silence did the job better than any argument could. She wanted chaos, attention, drama. I gave her none of it, and that, to her, was the worst punishment possible. A week passed. I thought things had finally gone quiet, but Mia wasn't done. People like her never stop until they run out of audience. She started posting more online, pictures of her sitting on the floor, suitcase behind her, captions like "Starting over is hard" and "Some people have no heart." She even made a GoFundMe page titled "Fresh Start After Heartbreak." The description said her boyfriend kicked her out, kept her things and left her with nothing. Goal, $5,000. Mutual friends sent me screenshots asking if it was true. I sent them one picture, the shipping receipt with Ryan's signature. They stopped asking. 2 days later, her mom called me. I hadn't spoken to her since the early days of our relationship. She didn't even say hello. "Mark, I can't believe you'd steal from my daughter. She said you kept her jewelry and her Chanel bag." I said calmly, "Ma'am, I didn't keep anything. I packed every item she owned and shipped it to Ryan's address. You can call the courier company if you want. There's a signature from the receiver." Silence. Then she said, "She says her Chanel bag isn't there." "Maybe she should check again," I said. "Or maybe Ryan has it. Either way, not my problem." She hung up. That was the last I heard from her. A few days later, Ryan texted me again. "She's back at my place, screaming at the gate." I told her to leave. "She says she has nowhere to go." I replied, "Not my issue, man. She made her choice." That night, I blocked both of them. By the end of the week, her GoFundMe had raised about $200. Then someone in the comments mentioned her recent designer shopping haul from her Instagram stories. The campaign quietly disappeared the next morning. Then came the next phase, reputation damage. She started DMing people we both knew, saying I was controlling, emotionally abusive, and wouldn't let her see friends. Classic script. A few people bought it. Most didn't. The ones who actually knew me just rolled their eyes. 2 weeks later, I was having dinner with a co-worker. Just food, nothing serious. Halfway through, guess who walked in? Mia. She saw me immediately, froze for a second, then marched right over. "Wow," she said, loud enough for everyone around to hear. "Didn't take you long to replace me, huh?" I sighed. "Mia, not now." She ignored that. "You throw me out, humiliate me, and now you're out on a date. You're unbelievable." The restaurant went quiet. My coworker looked uncomfortable. I said, calm and flat, "You left me on our anniversary to go see your ex. I just sent your stuff to the same place you went. That's all." Her face changed. She didn't expect me to say it that directly in public. People were watching. She tried again. "I was trying to help a friend." "Your ex-boyfriend?" "On our anniversary, at night, with no explanation." "You really want to do this here?" She didn't answer. Her face went red and she stormed out, muttering something about me being a jerk. After that, word spread. People finally understood what actually happened. Her version of the story stopped working. Ryan's new girlfriend apparently banned Mia from ever contacting him again. Even Ryan told someone he was done with the drama. Mia lost the support she used to get from everyone, her family, her friends, her followers. I heard she moved into a small room somewhere and started seeing some older guy who had money. Typical move. At that point, I stopped paying attention. The chaos finally burned itself out. I didn't need to explain or prove anything. I'd already done my part. Quietly, cleanly, let people talk. Let her spin whatever story helps her sleep. I knew what happened, and the truth was enough. The best part? For the first time in a long time, the apartment stayed silent. No yelling, no late-night phone calls, no crying over someone else's problems, just quiet. After that night at the restaurant, everything died down fast. People stopped asking questions. She stopped posting about me. It was like the drama ran out of fuel once no one cared anymore. For the first time in months, my life was calm. I went to work, came home, cooked simple meals, watched movies without having to lower the volume because someone was on a phone call crying about her ex. The apartment finally felt like mine again. Once in a while, I'd still hear something about her. Someone said she tried to move back in with her parents, but they got tired of her attitude and told her to figure things out on her own. Another friend mentioned she was seeing some older guy, probably for money. I didn't laugh or feel bitter. It just made sense. That's who she was, always chasing something she could use, never building anything real. I deleted her number, blocked every social media account, and didn't look back. There was nothing left to say. Sometimes people think closure means talking things out or forgiving someone. For me, closure was silence. About 6 months later, I met someone new. It wasn't planned. Just a normal meeting, a co-workers gathering, some drinks, small talk that turned into something easy. Her name's Emma. She's different. No drama, no games. If she's upset, she says it. If she's busy, she tells me. It's simple. Refreshing, actually. We've been seeing each other since then, taking it slow. I told her a bit about what happened, just the short version. She laughed and said, "Sounds like you dodged a storm." She's not wrong. Sometimes when I get home and see my place clean, Quiet and mine, I remember how it used to be. Constant noise. Tension, walking on eggshells. I don't miss it. Not a bit. People always say revenge is sweet, but honestly, this wasn't revenge. I didn't hurt her, expose her, or try to get even. I just stopped playing her game. That was enough. Letting someone deal with the natural consequences of their own choices is the best payback you can give. She wanted attention. She wanted chaos. I gave her none. And that's what broke her. Life feels simple again. I go to work, spend weekends with Emma, call my family more. It's quiet, stable, maybe even boring, but it's real. If there's one thing I learned, it's this. When someone shows you they don't respect you, don't argue, don't beg, don't prove your worth. Just pack their things and send them where they already want to be. Let them live with the freedom they asked for. Most of the time, it's the last thing they actually want, and that's it. No dramatic ending, no big lesson about love, just peace. 6 months ago, I had a girlfriend who kept one foot in the past. Now I have a life that finally moves forward, and I'm not looking back.